When it comes to proper skating technique, balance and agility go hand in hand. Balance is essential to the development of all hockey skills. A player who has developed good balance will be better at skating, puck control, shooting, and checking. Agility is something a player becomes more adept at as one's skating skills are developed. Agile skaters are more evasive because they have the ability to move laterally while still maintaining their speed.
The basic stance. Balance starts with the basic stance, or ready position. This is the starting position for many of the basic skating skills. In the forward stance, the player's feet should be shoulder-width apart with the toes pointing slightly outward. Knees and ankles are flexed at approximately 45 degrees. The upper body leans slightly forward with the weight on the balls of the feet. Make sure the head is up and eyes are looking forward. With the stick held in both hands, the blade should lay flat on the ice and slightly to the side of the body. The backward stance is very similar, except the body is slightly more upright and the weight should be more to the front of the foot. Getting up from the ice. Getting up from the ice is one of the first skills players need to learn. Players should rise to a kneeling position, then raise one knee forward to act as a brace. With both hands on the stick, push down on the raised knee and lift up to the ready position. Balance on one foot. Being able to balance on one foot is a fundamental skating skill. As with the basic stance, the player must keep the knees and ankles flexed to maintain balance. However, all of the player's weight will be transferred to the 1 foot remaining on the ice. Make sure the stick is out in front of the body so that it cannot be used as a means of support. Jumping 1 foot. Once players can balance on 1 foot, they can progress to jumping up and down. Keeping constant flexion in the knee will help to develop greater agility and leg strength. Gliding, arm pump. Gliding using the arms to propel the body is not a skill typically used in hockey. But it does show players the importance of using the arms in skating and the extra speed that a strong pumping action of the arms can generate. Gliding on 2 skates. Gliding on 2 skates can happen many times throughout a practice or game. It is usually the preliminary movement in which the player begins striding, turning, or stopping. Gliding on both skates is simply a moving hockey stance. Performing this drill backward is basically the same, with the exception that the body will be in a more upright position. Gliding on 1 skate, forward. Learning to balance and glide on 1 foot is essential, because proper skating technique requires that 1 foot must be under the body's center of gravity at all times. This is done by maintaining the basic stance on the supporting leg while picking up the opposite foot. Gliding on 1 skate, backward. Gliding backward on 1 skate is essentially the same as gliding forward, with the main difference being that the body is more upright instead of bent slightly forward. Again, the supporting leg is kept in the basic stance position, with the skate blade flat on the ice, not the edges. Gliding with knee bend. The next progression for gliding on 1 foot is to add a deep knee bend. This will not only help develop balance, it also prepares the player for forward striding. Gliding, 1 foot, toe on puck. Placing the toe on a puck helps players develop their balance while moving. When players perform this exercise, they are constantly changing their balance points. Therefore, they must keep their weight on the planted foot. Lateral crossovers, step and plant. Lateral crossovers are an excellent way for players to learn and develop their balance. Proper execution of this drill requires that the feet and shoulders remain perpendicular to the direction of the movement. It is important that the upper body is kept as still and level as possible throughout the drill. To maintain balance during this drill, it is critical to keep the blades flat on the ice. Lateral crossovers, continuous. The next progression for lateral crossovers is to take 3 steps in each direction. Make sure to finish and hold in the ready position before changing directions. Increasing the speed of this drill will become easier with practice. Lateral crossovers, over stick. The final progression of lateral crossovers is to perform continuous steps over a stick. This adds an obstacle for the players to step over, and it's an excellent way to develop balance, agility, and coordination. Shoot the duck, forward and backward. Shooting the duck both forward and backward is a difficult skill requiring leg strength, flexibility, and great balance. The key to this drill is that the player must lean forward as they are bending down. Not only is it a great exercise for many other skills, but players will have fun trying to master it as well.
Understanding the basic edges of a skate blade is an important step to learning and teaching proper skating technique. Mastery of one's edges is what separates the average skaters from the great ones. The skate blade has 2 edges, the inside edge, which is primarily used for pushing or driving, and the outside edge, which is used mostly in turning and stopping. Players need to master all 4 of their edges if they want to become great skaters.
Figure 8s, forward, inside edge. Figure 8s on the inside edge are a fundamental method for players to learn inside edge control. When performing this exercise, the emphasis should not be placed on speed, but rather the importance of the knee bend and a controlled upper body. Younger players may find it easier to place their stick on the ice to better maintain their balance. Figure 8s, forward, outside edge. Executing figure 8s on the outside edge is more difficult than on the inside. But again, a deep knee bend and quiet upper body will help to develop better edge control. Figure 8s, backward, inside edge. Performing backward figure 8s on the inside edge requires a quiet upper body, a strong push with a non-gliding leg, and a deep knee bend with a support leg. Mastering this skill is critical to executing many of the other skills built on this movement, such as backward crossovers, open pivots, and changing directions to a forward skate. Figure 8s, backward, outside edge. The next progression for backward figure 8s requires that the majority of the weight is placed on the ball of the foot while still maintaining a deep knee bend. It is also important that a player has a quiet upper body and is leaning slightly forward. This will enable the player to remain in control and ready for any subsequent movements. One leg weaving, forward. Weaving on one leg allows players to feel the inside and outside edges of their skates. The age and skill level of a player can have a noticeable effect on their ability to perform this exercise. Younger players tend to move from inside edge to outside edge as they turn. But because they're using more of a gliding motion, they will typically lose momentum. Older players will usually create propulsion and pick up speed by bending their knee going into the turn and then straightening their leg coming out of the turn. One leg weaving backward. Weaving on one leg backward is even harder for players to master than the same skill forward. When weaving backward, it's necessary to place pressure more on the toe in order to maintain balance, versus putting pressure on the heel when going forward. Typically, younger players won't have the balance or leg strength to master this skill backward, but it will come with time and practice. Forward scissor skate, small. Small forward scissor skates are a great exercise for working on outside edge control and coordination. It is critical for the players to keep their glide leg bent and to only use their outside edges when performing this skill. Forward scissor skate, large. The technique for this skill is similar to the small scissor skate, with the main difference being that the glide is held much longer. This helps players get a better feel for their outside edges. Backward scissor skate, small. A difficult skill to master, the backward scissor skate requires a great deal of agility due to its unnatural skating motion. Again, it's a great exercise for outside edge control, as almost the entire skill is performed on the outside edges of the skate. The body should be leaning slightly forward, and the support leg needs to be bent in order to maintain balance. Backward scissor skate, large. Increasing the length of the glide is the next progression of the backward scissor skate. To maintain balance during this exercise, the upper body must face forward and remain square. It is important to maintain a deep knee bend. Slalom, alternating lead foot. Performing slaloms by alternating the lead foot is another great exercise for improving edge control. It's important that each time they go into a turn, the player's feet exchange front and back positions and never leave the ice. Slalom, sticks on ice. Another good exercise for edge control is the slalom with sticks on ice. Players need to focus on using a deep knee bend to keep them moving. It's an exaggerated move, but it helps players master the proper slalom technique. The sticks are there to prevent any momentum that may be gained by forward striding.
The start is the foundation of the skating stride, and the ability to start quickly should be one of the first skating skills mastered by young hockey players. A good start is key for players to get a head start on their opponents. If you're going to learn to start fast, they also need to know how to stop fast. For safety reasons, the stop should be one of the first skills taught, as stops are essential in avoiding checks, shaking off opponents, or just changing directions. The ability to start and stop quickly is crucial to reacting and adjusting to the rapid changes that can develop during any hockey game.
T-start. The T-start is normally the first start taught to beginners because it's relatively easy to demonstrate and explain. The upper body should lean slightly forward with the weight over the drive leg. The drive leg should also be rotated outwardly, approximately 90 degrees to the direction of travel. The start is initiated by thrusting off the inside edge of the drive skate with full extension of the hip, knee, and ankle. Front V-start. The front V-start is an explosive start that allows a player to quickly reach maximum speed. The player's center of gravity should be shifted forward, with weight placed on the inside edges of the toes of the skates. The heels of the skates need to be close together, with the knees and ankles flexed. As the number of strides increases, the player takes progressively longer strides, pushing more to the side rather than to the back. The body should gradually straighten up as speed increases. Crossover start. The crossover start is basically a V-start preceded by a crossover action of the leg. Players will usually use a crossover start when they need to start rapidly, either from a 2-foot parallel stop or from a stationary position. It is also used when a player is perpendicular to the direction they wish to go. Backward C-cut start. A backward C-cut is used to initiate backward skating from a stationary position without turning one's back to oncoming opponents. Starting from the basic stance, the heel of the driving leg should be turned outward as far as possible. The thrust of this start comes from the toe of the skate. Backward crossover start. The backward crossover start is a very effective method of accelerating rapidly from a stationary position. Starting from the basic backward stance, the hips and trunk turn slightly toward the direction of the crossover, while the head remains facing forward. The outside leg starts with a C-cut and then crosses over in front of the inside leg. 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock stops. This skill gets its name because the right skate pushes out toward a 1 o'clock position and the left skate toward an 11 o'clock position. To properly execute this stopping technique, the heel of the skate needs to be turned outward and the toe turned inward. The player should maintain a deep knee bend while keeping their back straight and their weight on the balls of their feet. Outside leg stop. The outside leg stop is a common stop used by many beginner skaters. To execute this stop correctly, the player's weight must be on the inside edge of their outside leg. Their inside leg should be held above the ice, ready to initiate a new stride. 2-foot parallel stop. The 2-foot parallel stop is an excellent way to stop quickly. At the beginning of the stop, the knees should be bent beyond the toes of the skates and the weight distributed as evenly as possible over both skates. There should not be any upward extension of the body before rotating, as this makes it difficult to apply sufficient pressure to the blade. Inside leg, outside edge stop. The inside leg, outside edge stop is primarily used as a learning exercise for players having difficulty with their outside edge in the 2-foot parallel stop. This stop is rarely seen in game situations because it's very difficult to execute at high speed, and it leaves the player in an awkward position to initiate another skill. One-leg backward stop. The one-leg backward stop is commonly used because upon completion, the player is in a forward T-start position. To properly perform this maneuver, the body should be bent forward with the weight of the body on the rear leg. At the end of the stop, the knee of the back leg should be flexed and ready to move in any direction. 2-leg backward stop. The 2-leg stop is the most efficient and commonly used backward stop. It permits quick stopping and resistance against an opposing force, while placing the player in an excellent position to initiate a forward start. At the end of the stop, the toes should be pointed outward and the skates should be in a V position.